Okay, today we're going to create a video of using two push switches using the study board and the CB280, and then we'll see how we can use ladder logic and basic to see the status of the push button. So set the device to CB280 first, and we'll have to set the we'll have to use pin command to set the port P0 and P1 to input. So use pin 0 in will make port P0 to be input, and then use pin 1 in would make P1 to input. Now we've set the pins to input, and then we're gonna simply do set ladder on. That will turn on the ladder logic part, and we can also declare some variables. Switch 0 as byte, switch 1 as byte. Now these two variables are for the two push switches, so we can store the value from ladder logic. And then we put a nice little do loop here, and then let's go to ladder and make the ladder logic for this push switch. So we can just P0 here, and then make those lines, and then use this F8, and then here we'll do int on. If you look in the manual, int on will create a ladder interrupt and also store a value in the data register. So I'll store 1 if there's if it's pressed. If P0 is pressed, it'll store 1 in D0 data memory and also jump to basic. Now if it's not pressed, we wanna P0. If it's not pressed, we also want to create an interrupt to tell if it's pressed or not pressed. If it's not pressed, we want to put this one, and then also do a ladder interrupt and copy 0 into D0. And you might want to put this F11. This actually allows input to be inputted only once, so it acts kind of as a debouncing effect. So that's the good part about using push switches in ladder logic, that you can debounce it without thinking about it. Now we just do this, and then copy everything, copy wrong to buffer, and then let's see if I can paste overlay maybe. Oh no, okay, I'll just use Control C and then Control V. There you go. And then we could do the same thing for P1, and then just change the value to D1. We'll store the value of push switch 1 into D1, which is P1 here. And then we need a end statement at the end of your ladder logic. Now we go back to basic, and then we add some codes here. On ladder interrupts, on ladder int, go sub process ladder. This will whenever those push switches are pressed and unpressed, it will jump to this this label right here, and we always want to put the label after the do loop. Otherwise the processor will reset, because it's gonna if you put return. But okay, and then in process ladder, we're simply gonna store the value of D0 and D1 into the switch 0 and switch 1 variables we created. You can use underscore like this and put the number of the data memory D, and then we'll simply copy this and do it for the same thing for switch 1. Now we'll do switch 0 equals 1, then we'll simply output switch 0 on, and then else if switch 0 is 0, then we'll put output switch 1 is switch 0 is off. And then we just do an end if. and then we simply copy everything, Control C, and go here and Control V and paste everything. And all we have to do is change switch 0 to 1, this to 1, and this to 1, and then we could run the program. So let's see what I get. So you gotta make sure to save it as something, push button test, right? And then you gotta make sure to connect P0 and P1 to your P0 and P1 of the push switch. So connect where it says push switch P0 to where the IDC header says 0, and P1 to where the IDC header has 1. So now I'm gonna the switch 0. Okay, it's on. At the same time, I'm gonna press switch. Oh, here's a mistake. They're both switch 0. Oops, I forgot to change this to switch 1. Okay. Alright, we run it again. Okay. Now I press switch 0. So switch 0 is on, and then I unpressed it. I'm gonna press switch 0. I'm gonna press switch 1. So now they're both on. Now I'm gonna let both of them go. So at the end here, you can see it's both are off. Now it's hard to tell in the debug, so I'm just gonna add a statement at the end of everything. It's gonna add a little line here. Okay, compile and run it again. And now when I press switch 0 and then switch 1, it's easier to tell. Now I'm gonna let go of switch 1 and then switch 0. Okay, 0, 1, unpress 1, 0. At the same time off. See how you can notice there's a extra step here? It just means that the ladder interrupt is executed every 10 milliseconds. So that's the intermediate. So it's the processor is pretty fast. So anyway, so there we go. So you could now you know the switch values whenever it's on. This is being held, let go. From here, I think you should be able to make some if then statements and make your program. Alright.